Namaste friends. I am thankful to IITE Gandhinagar for inviting me to talk with you what is research. I am Dr. Shaurya Brahmbhatt, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Arts, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. Friends, today we are going to discuss a very important point of our academics, that is, what is research? Because research is such a field which widens our horizon of knowledge. It gives us wings to fly, to reach to the summit of ultimate knowledge. So in this module, we will try to understand the fundamental concept of research, its process, and many other things. In education, in medicine, why we need to do this research? Because research is a systematic investigation. When we listen this word investigation, some scene of CID and crime patrol comes in our mind, that we investigate scientifically, systematically, methodically, what? Into the study of what? Materials or resources or sources or the data which we have. It could be raw, it could be organized, but what we do in research, that we systematically investigate or study the material. Why we do that? We do it in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. Why there are needs to establish facts? Because there are facts which are already been established. And if such facts are already there, why there is need to establish some more facts? Because by nature, we all human beings have a thirst for knowledge, have an aspiration for knowledge. And we are always in want of new knowledge. The knowledge which we attain today may become old tomorrow. Because every moment comes with its own opportunities and challenges. And researcher is who always take every challenge as an opportunity to attain knowledge. So a researcher, what exactly does in a research? That it forms the question. It tries to find the answer of that question. And for that, what we need? We required research. That's why the first definition says that research is a systematic investigation of a matter, of a sources, of a data, to establish new facts and to reach to a new conclusions. Or on a social networking sites, on the platforms. So that change has not done overnight or itself. There was one element lies behind it, and that is research. Research is an endeavor to discover new or collect old facts, etc. Research is nothing but it is a scientific study of a subject, or by a course of critical investigation. This is what the Oxford Dictionary tells us about the word research. That it is an endeavor to discover. It is a scientific study of a subject, or it is a critical investigation. So in the first definition, there is a word systematic investigation. Research is a systematic investigation. And the second word, second definition says this then, critical investigation. So the word investigation plays a very important role here. That in any research, what researcher does, he or she investigates. What data, matter, or sources which are available to him or her. And what they get after investigating those things systematically and critically, they establish new facts. They reach to a new conclusion in their field. We remember the story of Thomas Alva Edison, who invented the electricity bulb or electric bulb. So when he failed for 99 times, so his 99 failure, gave us an opportunity, gave him the opportunity that these are not the way to invent a bulb. And the 100th one, the last chance which he made and through which he invented an electric bulb, that gives you another definition, that gives you another fact, establishes another fact that this is the way how the electric bulb are made. So every research, every attempt, every experiment is establishing new facts in the field, whether positive or in a negative in the sense that this is not the way to find the answer. This is not the way to find the answer. This could be the way to find the answer, like that. So in short, in these two definitions, we come to this understanding that research is a systematic and critical investigation of a subject or a data, a raw data which is available to a researcher, through which he analyzes those data and try to find the new facts and try to reach to a new conclusion in his field. Research is what we do when we have a question or a problem we want to resolve. That every research starts with this very basic question, the research question, the research problem. If there is no problem, then there is no need of a research. If there is no question, there is no need to search for the answer. That's why in our Indian tradition, we always encourage to ask the questions. If you ask question, you will find the answers. Upanishads are the best examples of the aspiring minds of getting answers to their queries. We may already think we know the answer to our questions already. We may think the answer is obvious, common sense even. But until we have subjected our problem to rigorous scientific scrutiny, our knowledge remains little more than guesswork or at best illusion. You read this last topic, that why we need to indulge into the process of research. We can make the direct statement. We can claim and declare that this is what I believe. But world does not exist on beliefs. It exists on reality. It exists on proof. So our belief, our guesswork will not work here. We have to present our understanding, our findings in a proper manner. And if our knowledge is not represented in a proper manner, that won't be considered as a research. It won't get its own place in the field of research. It's not about that what you observe or what you believe and this is just a common sense, इसमें तो यही होगा. This is not something research is all about. Research is a systematic, serious investigation where you have to prove that why you believe so. You have to prove why you think so. And for that, you must have some scientific methods used for it. Rigorous scientific work you need to present in your paper. If we fail to do that, our knowledge remains little more than the guesswork only. Or it just remains as an illusion. Because research findings is a different thing and illusions are the altogether different thing. Here we are talking about research, not illusions. First, priority is to formulate your question. How the research process starts, how it starts. The priority is given to formulate your question, the research question. Then figure out how you are going to answer it. That all answers, all questions are not being answered in the same way. Because every question has different answer. Not only that, every researcher look at the question in his or her own way. So there might be possible ways of answers. So as a researcher, when we start our research, the first and foremost principle, the foremost need, requirement, priority is to formulate a research question. Second step, figure out how you are going to answer it. उसका जवाब हम कैसे देंगे? How we'll figure out the answer. How have others answered it? This is also one of the important aspects. That how others look at the problem. How does your problems fit in with what others have done so far? How will you know when you have answered it? Then you can present your answer. So this is how we have to prepare oneself as a researcher for research. And we have to conceive this idea of research, fundamentally, we have to make it very clear that it always starts with a, framing with a question, that what is your research question? As a researcher, you must be in position to think about the possible ways to answer those research problems. Third thing, you must know that how others look at to the problem. Because if something is problematic for you, suppose A is the research question or research problem for you, you think that this is the research problem. But it is possible that for others, they do not see it as a problem. So you have to prove that yes, this is a genuine problem of the field. You have to prove your proposal that your question, your problem, research problem is fit with others. You go on researching that the canvas is so vast that you never come to know that you have already answered your question and you are in search of it. So we have to make a frame that when you get your answer, you must be ready to present that answer to the world. You must have, this is something, the joy of sharing, that you have found the answer of your question. As I said, that research is a process. And how this process starts, as you can see in the screen, that it starts with thinking. Then the second stage, it leads you towards planning. Your planning takes you towards implementing. When you implement your plans, in return you get the raw data. You analyze them. And once you analyze those data, we have to inform those outcomes with the world. We have to share the outcome with the world. And that outcome will again, give the, this is a very cyclical process, that those findings will give birth to new thinking, and new thinking will give birth to new planning, and new planning will lead towards the new implementation and new analysis and new information. And that new information again starts, gives a cycle of rethinking. So this is how the human nature and the human mind works as far as research is concerned. Because it's a process. It starts with thinking, it ends with informing to the colleagues, to the world, to the university, where you work, that this is what I have found. In this module, as I told you that we are focusing on what is research, and as in the earlier slide you see that what is research process, and I gave you 4 or 5 names in general, that it starts with thinking and it ends with informing the others. But actually the research process involved many steps. The points are: first, formatting the research problem. Second, extensive literature review or survey. Third, developing hypothesis. Fourth, preparing the research design. Fifth, determining sample design. Sixth, collecting the data. Seventh, exclusion of project. Execution of the project. 8, analysis of data. 9th, hypothesis testing. 10th, generalizations and interpretation. And 11th, preparation of the report or presentation of the result. Preparation of the report and presentation of the result. And how we present our result, that we will see in the next module, which will be on research paper, review paper and theme paper. So these topics will definitely going to be helpful for you in the next module as well. So this is the research process where we are involved in 11 different steps, for right from the beginning of formulating a research problem till the end, informing the world, that is the preparation of the report or presentation of the results in a form of your dissertation, thesis or research paper. It could be anything. This is another graphic which can be useful for you to understand the process, that what researcher exactly starts with, or how the researcher starts his journey as a researcher, and it starts with the identifying the research problem. Many a times students come to their guides and they say, sir, I want to do PhD, okay, I want to do research, okay, you give me any topic and I will do my research. But and at that time we have to tell our students that this is not the right attitude of a researcher. First of all, you go and identify the research problem. You come with a research problem, and then we can start our journey into the research world. It is very important for us to understand that research we do on the research problems, not on the research topics. Okay. Topic came very later on. First thing is that we have to identify the research problems. Once we have identified with the research problem that, okay, this is the problem and this is unanswered till the date, what is the next step? We do review the literature. We will try to read extensively good, large in number, about what people have already been said on this issue. What kind of research, or how other scholars, other researchers look at this problem. And for this review of literature, our secondary resource, review papers, will going to be helpful for us, that we will see in the next module. So after reviewing the literature, we have to specify a research purpose, that why we want to find the answer of this question. It's easy to just declare that this is the solution of this question. That's it. No. We cannot do that. Because if you do that, it will not establish as a knowledge in the system. It may be considered as a just guesswork or an illusion. And we know that research is nothing but to establish new facts. So this is the purpose of a research, that we have to specify a research purpose. Once it is specified, we collect the data. After collecting the data, we analyze the important data. We evaluate the data. And we write the report. And same, we write the report. And how we write the report? In a form of a thesis, in a form of a dissertation, in a form of a research paper. It could be anything. As we discussed that research begins with a problem, and this problem need not be earth-shaking. This is something we have to understand as a researcher, that there are students who are in search of research problems which are earth-shaking. Such a gigantic issue they want to discuss and to handle in the research. It's not necessary that in your research you have to discuss and focus only those problems which are earth-shaking. There are hundreds and thousands of research problem prevails around us. You find one of them or any of them. Identify that problem. And then you set the general goals of research project. You must try to address an important questions of your research problem. And you must visualize that what kind of advanced knowledge we can get, we can achieve out of this research. So the research question could be small in its size, but it should have its own value, because every problem has its own value, has its own place. And as a researcher, we must have an eye, proper eye, drashti, to identify that problem. And once we identify the problem, we have to just see the possibilities of finding the answers, appropriate answers of it. That how to address that question, how others have addressed that question, and what advanced knowledge we can acquire by finding the answer of this question. What we do once the research question is framed and we are looking for the research questions, we starts with observation. Just look around. And you will find the problems. You read literature reviews, review papers, and you find your research problem. You attend the state level, national level, international level professional conferences where the representative scholars and researchers of that field discuss about the prevailing questions of that particular field. You meet the experts, you interact with them, you interview them, and that will give you an idea, that will give you an opportunity to find the problems which are there around us in the field in which we want to make a research. So observation, literature review, professional conferences, experts can be useful for us to find the research question, to frame the research question. And once by doing this, if we get the research question, our another step starts, that is literature review. Literature review gives theoretical rationale of problem, which being studied. what research has been done and how it results to the problem, how it relates to the problem. Be sure to include well respected individuals in the research area. Literature review gives us a rationale, theoretical rationale of a problem being studied. What does it mean? It means that literature review gives us an opportunity, gives us a direction that how to deal with the problem, how others have dealt with the problem so far, what kinds of theories people, other researchers have applied for this problem to find the answer. What kind of results they have got, and what new we can have out of literature review. So literature review plays a very important role once our research question is framed. Our journey to unknown starts with the literature review, where we read the entire history of the field. What has been done, what has not been done, and what are the possibilities are there in the field. After review of literature, we come to the another stage, that is selection of a research design. And these things go parallelly. When you are reading your literature review, this selection of research design go parallel. The research design indicates the steps that will need to be taken and the sequence they will occur. Each design can rely on one more data collection technique. The assess reliability and validity. Critical consideration in determining methodology is the selection of the subjects. So these are the points a researcher does along with his literature review. That it gives, a researcher starts giving a design to his research. That how he will collect the data, in what forms he will collect the data, how will access those data, how he will validate those data, etc., etc. So, two things. One is the reading process of literature review, which, extensively you read the entire resource, the primary and the secondary resource there, and especially the secondary resource which you have. And along with that, in your mind, in the mind of researcher, the selection of research design frames. A researcher thinks about the data gathering, that how he will collect the data. Okay, so it must present, design the sampling scheme, that the size of the sample, and prepare the questionnaire must be coded. Okay, so he must code the questionnaire and he must prepare a questionnaire in a way that he can get the desired data for his or her research. Once he collected the data, he you know, process and analyze the data. He organized the data, and the data collection, the method of your data collection should be such that will help you to process and analyze the data in an easy way. So it describes demographic of the data, compare behavior if applicable, choose appropriate statistic technique, and look for patterns in data. There might be possibility that there you will find some patterns in the data which you have collected. You may find some appropriate statistics use some statistic technique to find some statistic information out of the data. Okay. You can again find the behavior from behavior of a people, behavior of the community in different situation by such study of your research. You interpret the result, and after that you come to the result and you interpret it. Reading the result is also an art, and come to a conclusion after all, that make sure to consider the audience. Discuss implication for the population of interest and future research. That how far this research is going to be helpful in the existing field of knowledge. The second point, once the researcher starts his journey, this is one of the most important topic and most important point which we have to understand, that is the hypothesis. Whether you are doing your research in science, in humanities, or literature, you make some statement that is called a hypothesis statement, where you assume for the result that it could be this, it could be that, it could be the result could be A, result could be B, result could be C. In the beginning we don't know what could be the result, what will be the result. But we imagine. And that assumption is called a hypothesis. Hypotheses are tentative. This is not a final. This is tentative. You believe that ऐसा भी कुछ हो सकता है. Such kind of result may come, may not come. Hypotheses are tentative. It could be, we can call it an intelligent guesses. It could be intelligent guesses as to the solution of the problem. There is often a one-on-one correspondence between a sub-problem and a hypothesis. Hypothesis can direct later research activities, since they can help determine the nature of the research and methods applied. When we talk about research, we must know that there are several types of research. Descriptive research, analytical research, applied research, fundamental, quantitative, qualitative research, conceptual and empirical research. And according to the nature of our field, we can explore, we can start our journey in such types of research. In brief, let me tell you, give you an overall idea about these types of research, that what is descriptive research. That the descriptive research includes survey and fact-finding inquiries of different kinds. Analytical research means, on the other hand, analytical research has to use facts or information already available and analyze these to make a certain evaluation of the material. Applied research aims at finding a solution for an immediate problem facing a society or an industrial or business organization. Fundamental research means, whereas fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalizations and with the formulation of theory. When we form a new theories, that is called a fundamental research. Gathering knowledge for knowledge's sake is termed as pure or a basic research. When you do it just for the sake of knowledge, that is the fundamental research. Quantitative research is based on the measurement of quantity or amount. It is applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quality. Quantity. Qualitative research. Qualitative research, on the other hand, is concerned with qualitative phenomena. Phenomena relating to or involving quality or kind. Conceptual research is that related to some abstract ideas or theory. It is generally used by philosophers and thinkers to develop new concepts or to reinterpret existing ones. And the last, empirical research. Empirical research relies on experience or observation alone. When we do research, we involve in a method, because it is a systematic and critical investigation. And when it is systematic investigation, we must use some methods for research. So research methodology is a systematic way to solve a problem. So what exactly we do in a research? We systematically try to find the way to solve a problem. It is a science of studying how research is to be carried out. Research methodology is a science which study how research is to be carried out. It also defined as the study of methods by which knowledge is gained. Its aim is to give the work plan of research, the steps of research. As we discussed, that the entire process starts with the choice of the research problem. Once we choose the problem, once we find the research problem, we make a statement, definition of the research problem. We need to define that this is the problem. We cannot, even our problem should not be like an illusion कि ऐसा एक problem हो सकता है. No, this is not the right attitude. We have to make a statement, a definition of a research problem. The review of the related literature, that is the second step. I am repeating this slide again and again to make the things very clear in your mind, your friends, that once the process of research is fixed in your mind, that will really help you in your dissertations in future to develop your mental capacity as a researcher. We review the literature. The preparation of research, design and formulation of hypothesis. And formulation of hypothesis, again, very important point. And then we do the selection of sampling. We choose tools for selection of collecting the data, because without using any tool, we cannot collect the data. So we must have a proper, approved, valid tool to collect the data, because ultimately we have to make our research methodical. The pre-test and pilot study, the execution of the research plan, the coding and the processing of data, the representation of a brief report, the representation of final report by supervising or rejecting the hypothesis or theory. This is something, a very important thing which we do as a researcher at the end of our research. We prepare a final report in a form of a dissertation, thesis, or a research paper. And what we do, either we support our hypothesis or we reject our hypothesis. Let us take the same example of an electric bulb, that this could be the ways, these could be the 99 wrong ways through which we cannot make the bulb. So this is how we reject the hypothesis, that these are not the ways. These are the ideas are not applicable to find the solution of this problem. Or else, we approve the hypothesis at the end, that this is what I believe, this is what I was expecting, and by studying the data, by analyzing in this systematic and in a methodical way, I accept this hypothesis. And this is how we are supposed to draft our report. At the end, I want to end the session with a very beautiful quote by a Newton. And he says that disappointment is when a beautiful hypothesis is destroyed by an ugly fact. That when we involve ourselves in a research, we are not sure that what kind of result we are going to get. And sometimes we make so beautiful hypothesis that after the end of the result, we will be having this kind of knowledge, this kind of answer to these many questions. But Newton says that the ugly fact of the result can destroy the beautiful hypothesis. So hypothesis is the, always imagination gives you an idea. Imagination has its own value in creative writing as well as in research. Because hypothesis begins with question, and hypothesis gives you an opportunity to look at the problem and the possibilities of finding the answer to the problem in a different ways. But the fact is very beautifully presented by the Newton, that sometime the ugly fact of a research destroy the beautiful hypothesis which we have created in our mind, and that is very disappointment. But here, with the hope that this small discussion about research will definitely help us to improve our attitude as a research, and with a hope and with a prayer that one day we also try to find the best possible answer to the research problems which are there before us. With this note, I end my session here. Thank you very much. Namaste.